Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Think Suburbia, the podcast of the Suburban Virginia Republican Coalition, the SUVGOP. My name is Mike Ginsberg. I'm a host of the podcast and also one of the co-founders of SUVGOP.
Hey, I'm Jill Cook. I'm a co-host of the podcast and another one of the founders of SUVGOP. And our guest tonight is one of the candidates for National Committeewoman. And Jean Gannon, who is currently the president of the Middle Quarter Republican Women and has a whole host of other past, official titles. And welcome, Jean, to our podcast.
Thank you. Thanks, Mike. And thanks, Jill, for having me tonight. I'm really excited to be here.
Yes, we're excited to learn about all your plans too. So we're going to just jump right off now. First of all, I want to say we have hosted a podcast of all three candidates for RPV chair. Because we want to have people, have a whole idea of all the candidates and what's going on. So now that we're joined by one of the two candidates for National Committeewoman. So tell us, Jean, what is that position and what responsibilities will you have?
So the role of National Committeewoman is a representative role. I would represent Virginia on the RNC along with the National Committeeman and the chairman. And we meet 4 times a year. We discuss things like the party platform. We talk about upcoming conventions, organization. One of the things that I'm really looking forward to is meeting people from other states and learning how they win and what they do and what kind of resources I can bring back to Virginia. As far as State Central Committee goes, I'd like to bring back some more reports that are maybe just a tad bit more informative and could help us perhaps maybe win some more elections. So I have a background in campaign management. I've been a unit chair. I'm currently a president of a women's club, volunteered on a ton of campaigns. I've actually, I've only been paid for one campaign, but I've volunteered on many, many other campaigns. So I've learned a lot over the years, and I'd like to bring some resources and some information to our local unit chairs and our district committees, and maybe give them the resources to help us win more.
Yeah, and I can verify. I have seen Jean volunteering at lots and lots of things, so I can verify that. You kind of answered our next question. What made you decide to run for the position? And you kind of answered that. I didn't know if there was anything else you wanted to add.
Well, like I said, I'm very passionate about Republican politics here in Virginia. I think that there's just so much more that we could be doing. And just thought maybe I could bring some skill sets and some bring a little more energy into where we're going here. So the fact that we are just so outnumbered by Democrats here in the Commonwealth is it's heartbreaking, and watching everything that's going on now, it's devastating to the citizens of the Commonwealth. So I think that we could be doing maybe a little bit better job, and let's work on it.
No, you're absolutely right. I think I know we all sort of feel the challenges here in Virginia. Now, the National Committeewoman not only serves on the National Committee, but also has a seat in the vote on the State Central Committee, correct?
That's correct, yes. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. No, just wanted to see if I understood that correctly. So I guess, as somebody, who wants to be, who just, what you just said, who's sort of heartbroken, I think we all are, about where the Virginia GOP has gone. What are some of the things that you think you can do, sort of uniquely in that National Committeewoman position that, might adjust or deal with some of the problems that we've faced recently? Where do you think the party should go from here?
Well, I think that we have so much talent here in the Commonwealth. And we have 123, is it, I believe? We have 123 units with fantastic chairs. And we have 11 congressional districts with 11 fantastic congressional district chairs. I think that we can maybe bring some more resources to these folks. Maybe do some webinars, help people with fundraising, help them to see, help them to find what it is that they need to do in order to find candidates, to recruit members, to grow our party, and to lift it up so that we can start winning it again. So
that reminds me, as National Committeewoman, one of the beauties of that is that you will network with other people in your same position. I like what you said about resources, because we like to think we have all the great ideas. Other states may have great ideas, and you will be talking with these people, and we can share, you know.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. It's like I said, there's so much talent out there. All we have to do is like find it, harness it, and bring it home.
I love that.
Right. No, that's true. That's true. Now, one of the things that we've sort of always been focused on here at the Suburban Virginia Coalition, Republican Coalition, is the suburban voter. And I was reading actually over the weekend on the National Review an article about the challenges that the Republican Party is facing in, of all places, Texas. And the article was arguing that while Texas remains a stronghold for Republicans, what is turning it from being a stronghold to a more competitive state is the sort of the suburbanization of the state, whether it's the Dallas suburbs, the San Antonio suburbs, the Houston suburbs. And it's a phenomenon that we've experienced, obviously, here in Virginia. You know, whether it's the 11th or the 11th district, the 10th district, the 7th district where you're living, you know, the 2nd district, you know, these are suburban areas that used to be sort of bedrock for Republicans. What do you think, as a suburbanized 7th district person yourself, what do you think we need to be doing as a party to winning them back? Why do you think we've lost them, and what do you think we need to be doing to win them back?
Well, I think in order to discuss anything with anyone, first we have to do is the first thing we have to do is to find common ground with people and to be able to open it up and engage in conversation and talk to people. I think that in some regard, maybe as Republicans, there are misconceptions that you know, we're kind of mean, which we're not. I have to tell you, in all the years that I've worked with folks in the Republican Party, I've made so many wonderful new friends, and these are friendships that will last a lifetime and have for decades. So I think that maybe we could be a little bit better in reaching out and talking to people. Also to growing our tent, you know, it's we like to say that we have a big tent, but sometimes we don't always act that way. So I think it's really important that those of us that want to bring in new people and get people engaged, that we do that. We bring them in and we make sure that they feel comfortable and they're happy with where they're at.
Yeah, that leads to the other kind of issues. Basically, we are looking how we've always had what you said, we have a perception problem in the Republican Party, which is not true. And, you know, it's hard to fight the media on that perception problem. How do we bring younger voters to the Republican Party? Because young voters are where it is.
Well, we have it right there. I mean, we have our young Republicans and our college Republicans. They're right here with us. And I talk to them and I find out what they're doing. I go to their events, you know, and talk to them about how they're recruiting. And we need to keep them involved in everything that we're doing. And I didn't mean to say earlier too that the messaging was our bad messaging, but you're right. The Democrats in the media, they put out the messaging about Republicans that, you know, everything that they are, they say that's what we are, you know. So I mean, talk about intolerant, hateful, and, you know, just plain out rotten. Just look at what's going on in, you know, in the news these days as far as the protesters go. I've never seen so much hate and vitriol in my life.
Right.
And that's, you know, we're all out working our jobs and trying to keep the economy going, and these people were just like killing the country. So it is a very, we have to work especially hard at our PR and our perception. But I mean, like I said, I think the Republican Party is full of fantastic people. I'm talking to two of them right now.
Oh, thank you.
We appreciate it. No, we appreciate the opportunity to chat. I'm sorry, Joe.
Can I share? I just want to share one anecdote, because I'm up here visiting my parents in Connecticut right now, who are solid Republicans, believe it or not. We were out to dinner last night, and our young waiter, who was masked for most of the time, but we were outside at the end, you know, relaxed a little bit, but he saw that my mom had a Trump mask sitting on the table. She wasn't wearing it, but it was sitting there in case she needed it. And he started a conversation. And by the end of it, he said, you know, I'm a recovering Democrat. He was only like 20. And I was telling him about the fabulous young Republicans in Virginia that I work with and everything. So there is hope. I mean, there is hope.
Oh, there certainly is. I've been messaged on Facebook by people that I've known for 30, 40 years, and they'll be like, Jean, I want to get involved. I want to help get Trump reelected. What do I do? And I'm like, all right, where do you live now? And I find out where they live, and I get on the website for the state, and I find out where their local unit is, and I get everybody connected. And I mean, I've never seen anything like this before in my life, but apparently, people know I'm involved, and they want to get involved. So I think that's fantastic.
You're a networker.
And that's hugely important. I mean, that's a hugely important skill, particularly for the Republican Party, because so much, I mean, I can tell you, so many people, so much of what we do is finding, plugging people in that first time.
Absolutely.
Once they get plugged in, then they're in the ecosystems, everything's good. Mm-hmm. But I can't tell you how many times people are like, I didn't know where to start. I didn't know where to get active. So the fact that you're helping people, in other states, I mean, those are the kind of skills that really make party growth a reality.
Right. You just have to know where to look. So, and not everybody does. Right. So we just help them along. Yeah,
and you have to answer them. When they email you, you respond quickly, you respond promptly.
Absolutely.
And you say, here's the ways to do it. I mean,
you never put it off, because then you'll forget about them.
Right.
You got to strike while the iron's hot.
Exactly. Hey, we're all busy. So that's a great approach. I mean,
I love that. And networking is a key component of your position, National Committeewoman. That's a huge component, but also everything that you've done leading up to that and all your various activities.
Absolutely, yeah.
Sort of like you said, a great skill set. I just want to get one question. We have several more questions, but one thing I wanted to, before I forget, is that a lot of the, I want to say criticisms, comments, is that we let a lot of races go uncontested in 2019. Where are you on that argument?
Oh, I have lots of opinions on that argument.
Okay.
Well, there's the fact that people are, in order to run for office, and you both know this, and many people do, but in order to run for office, it takes great personal sacrifice. Okay, it's a sacrifice of time at home with your family. It's sacrifice of money. And you have to raise money. You can do this for 18, 20 months and then lose the race. It's killer. So it's a very difficult thing to do. So in order to find somebody who's not only qualified to do it, but that they're willing to do it, is very difficult. And I think a lot of it is, this comes back to our resources for our unit chairs too. Our unit chairs are our boots on the ground. I mean, these are our unsung heroes. They do a ton of work, and they do it all locally. They're the ones that find our local candidates and our state candidates from the grass. So I think if we can give them more resources, help them to maybe look for things in people that they can recognize that we might have a really good candidate here, and give them the support system that they need in order to do more recruiting for candidates. I think that could help. And in all honesty, I think that when people say RPV didn't find anybody, you really don't want your mom coming down into the kitchen telling you how to cook your eggs. So it's kind of how I look at that whole thing with RPV. We want our unit chairs to be able to get out there and do the job that they need to do, and to do it without a lot of hassle, and to give them the support that they need. And I think that if we could work something where we actually have a plan and a system in place, we could find those candidates. I mean, just before COVID, I was traveling all over the state of Virginia. I came across 3 or 4 people that want to run for the House of Delegates. Oh, and they're sitting tight, they're raising money, they're out there working for Trump. And they'll be announcing after the election in November.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Now, of course, you know, those are all very great points, and they come from somebody. You've got a lot of experience in the party at the grassroots level. I mean, you've had a long career within the Republican Party. Maybe tell us a little bit about sort of the experience that you bring to bear to the position.
Well, so yeah, I've always enjoyed the volunteering part, the knocking the doors, the making the phone calls. and just, just getting out there and going to the events as well and working the events. If you work at a registration table, it's where you learn who all the people are. You learn the names and the faces, and you get connected with everybody. And that's really where a lot of where the unity comes from. People throw unity around like it's, the best keyword in the world, but it is true. And so, just my involvement in campaigns and fundraising here on a local level in Powhatan County, we had a lot of difficulty with that for a long time. But it takes a lot of work, it takes a lot of effort. But we put some really fantastic events together here. So and I look forward to doing more someday.
So following on that, and I'm sure you will, Jean, you have a lot more to do. Following on that, so there is one other candidate in this race, and this is not a denigration or anything like that or a bash. This is why you are more qualified. Why are you qualified for this position? What distinguishes you basically from your opponent?
I think that the fact that I have such great networking skills, that I have the experience as far as working in campaigns, being a unit chair for 4 years, I know what these people go through. So like I said, it's a tough job, but boy, you do learn the ropes. It's like, how is this sausage made? Be a unit chair for a couple of years, and you know the sausage for sure.
Yeah.
So there's all these different things that I can bring to it. So
you understand the challenges, because
I do. I absolutely do.
Right.
And one of the things that just absolutely drives me nuts is when people don't follow through with things. So I always try to make sure that when I take on a task, I finish it. And that is super important in everything that we do in life. So
yeah, that's so true. And you can say lots of rosy things and everything, but if you don't get down there and do the work and
right,
like you said, follow
and
up.
I don't mind getting my hands dirty and doing what needs to be done. If something needs to be done, I'm pitching right in. I was in everybody's face.
Absolutely. You know what? One more thing then I know Mike has another question, but I just want to say that as a president of Republican Women's Club, I have been on the executive board of mine for a long time. I do a lot of things with my Republican Women's Club. That is a tough job, but a fabulous job. We have so many hard workers, and being a member and a president of Republican Women's Club gives you such a I think a boost sometimes,
One of my favorite events is Legislative Day. We would do that. We do that every January, and we bring all those women down to the General Assembly, and we do a lunch, and we get to sit and dine with our legislators on both the Senate and the House side. But the actual lobbying, we started doing that about 5 or 6 years ago, and we get topics together. We get groups of ladies that want to talk about things that they're passionate about, and they go over to the General Assembly in the Pocahontas building now, and they knock on every door, Republican and Democrat door. They're kind, they're pleasant, and they get their point across. So it's been a great success. One of the things I always really enjoyed doing was Legislative Day.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
That's great. No, I mean, that's an important experience as well. I mean, being able to lobby and being able to lobby Democrats. And to make your case, and to make the case to the opposition. I mean, that's probably the hardest thing in politics. That and being a unit chair.
Being nice, smile and be nice. So, right, because their side is not always nice when they visit our Republican reps.
True. That is true.
No. I mean, we're seeing it in the streets. Now, I guess one of the things that is coming up, at the upcoming convention. Now, your election is at the state convention on Saturday, August 15th.
That's
and at that convention will also be electing a state party chair, as well as voting on several party plan amendments. And some of those those party plan amendments, I mean, they all seem to, in one form or another, tweak state central committee. There's one by a group called the Republican Change Coalition that is talking about shrinking the size of the state central committee. There are others that are looking to expand it or change it in other ways. I don't know if you've had any thoughts on that, but we'd certainly be eager to know what you think.
Awesome. Yeah, sure. Well, like I said before, I am a big tent kind of person. I think that regardless of the size of the state central committee, if we could stay focused on what the task is at hand, we can actually get something done. So I don't think it makes a difference if we have 80 people or 50 people. One of the amendments that's out there, though, is to bring in a caucus of unit chairs. And that is, just, as far as I'm concerned, that is like the best thing since sliced bread. Yeah. I know it increases the number of people on State Central, but you're talking about people, I don't know how many people would be in the caucus, 3, 5, or whatever, but you're talking about people that are out there actually working it and that know what the reality of the situation is. So that when they're talking to people, say in other groups that are, maybe they're not as on the ground as some other people are, that they can bring a new message into what goes on here in the state of Virginia, or Commonwealth of Virginia. But yeah.
I think
that's a good point.
Grounding is a key word. I think you're right, because you have to be grounded in your approach. You have to understand the reality of our situation in Virginia. And I think unit chairs have just such a view of that, and from all their different units, you know.
Indeed.
It is not a state that's the same in every part. So
one of my things that I like to do, it's because I'm a little dorky, is that I like to go to State Central Committee meetings because, you know, I've been a unit chair, okay, and I've served being unit chair, I've served on the district committee, but then this is the other level of what it is that we do. So I like to know who's on State Central, who represents me, who represents the other districts as well, and where people are going with things and what they talk about and what problems they're trying to solve. And some of these problems, it takes a lot of discussion, and I understand that, but we just all have to be in it to get the job done.
Well, yeah, because Mike is new at it. I'm not so new at it and totally understand that for sure.
So you take the minutes. That's a killer job.
Gotta pay attention to everything.
Yeah. And you know, we're sort of getting close to the end of our time together. Is there anything else we haven't touched on? I certainly would love to, you know, get your website and all that good information if people want to get in touch with you. But if there's anything else we haven't hit on that you'd like to cover, we'd be delighted to chat about it.
Well, that's wonderful. Thank you.
And Jean, one last thing. I just want to say, we always ask everybody when we kind of finish the business part of it, what do you do for fun? What do you do when you're politicking?
This kind of is my fun. I do this and I work. But I've got a couple of granddaughters that I just, for me, it's just go play with the kids. I really enjoy playing with the little ones. One of them's 18 months old and the other one is 6 years old. So it's quite an array of what their interests are, and we generally have a heck of a lot of fun together. So
you know what? I just became a double grandmother with a second granddaughter.
Awesome.
And the 2 girls, you are exactly right. It is so fun.
when I first started speaking to people back prior to the COVID shutdown, one of the things I would include in all my talks was God knew what he was doing when he made grandparents. So it's quite the reward for being a mom and dad.
That's right. I can't wait. I've got to.
Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
We're still in stage 1 of the booster flight, but
that's okay. Well, your parents are enjoying them, so.
Oh yes, they are. That they are, and they're also saying, "See, now you get it. You know, now you know."
My kids are always like, "Who is she? Where did my mother go?" Because I just, oh, you want ice cream for breakfast? Sure.
Right, exactly.
Oh my God, I love it.
Exactly. Well, very good, very good. Really appreciate you taking the time to meet with us. Do you have a website? Oh, you bet. A website and maybe like social media you want to?
Sure. My website is jeangannon.com, so it's easy to remember. And my name is Jean, Jean, and please visit my website. I have videos on there about my biography, my support for President Trump. I've carried the 2A resolution here in Powhatan County back in November, and I was even at both the rally and the lobby day back in January. So I've got an interview on there from one of the Northern Virginia television stations as well. So I've got some fun short videos. I keep them short, but yeah, please check out my website. And I thank you both very much for having me. It's quite a pleasure.
Well, thank you, Jean. We'll see you somewhere real soon. I am so sure.
Absolutely, for sure. Maybe I'll see you on August 15th between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m.
You go.
That's right.
Exactly. At your location.
Jill, we'll be at the Waterford over in Springfield.
Oh, that's wonderful. So I was there when you had your 8th district convention there, as a drive-through.
Yep.
Chairman Kelly.
Yep.
Did a fabulous
and
job.
that was amazing.
Yep.
You were
And the good
first
news is both
unassembled
the
convention.
8th and the 11th will be sharing that site. So it'll be one-stop
That's
shopping
wonderful.
for the candidates. One less
Very
place you
good.
got to go to.
Maybe I'll get up there and see you guys early in the
Please
day.
do. Always welcome.
do.
Always welcome. So thank you again, Jean. And we appreciate all of you who have been tuning into our podcasts. Thank you to Jean for tonight's. And if you want to catch our podcasts, this one and all of them, you can visit our website at SUVGOP.com and go to the drop-down menu for SUVGOP's podcasts, or you can visit our SUVGOP YouTube webpage, and you can find them there as well. So with that, we look forward to seeing you at the convention on Saturday, August the 15th, and we look forward to joining you on another edition of Think Suburbia.